Ahead on Early Birds, the Falcons head down to the honky tonk and try for a second straight road win.
Red Stallions.
We'll sit down with a surprising star on the offense, Jonnu Smith. We've got Michael Jenkins in-house to talk about Michigan's sign-stealing shenanigans. Plus, we will meditate on how AK gets his mind right when we go deep. That and more on Early Birds.
Grab a cup of your favorite Joe and let's talk Falcons football on Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Good morning and welcome into Early Birds. He's DJ, I'm Justin. So the Falcons did the easy part. They got to first place. Now, Shock, it's a matter of staying there.
Sometimes that's the hardest thing, is staying there, maintaining it, being consistent. Those are all things we're hoping the Falcons can do for sure.
They're going to try to start that off in Tennessee, in Nashville tomorrow. We'll start things off with the opening drive as the Falcons get ready to face the Titans. And it's a weekly topic, DJ, so let's do it again. Desmond Ridder, Shock. He's done so many good things, but, and it's a substantial but there, 6 turnovers in the last 2 games.
Yeah, Justin, no doubt about it. That is a huge but because you talk about a guy who has struggled holding on to the football is always a big deal. And when it comes from the quarterback position, it is a big cause for concern. And it's happening in opportune times where you've had opportunities to score like here,
right?
But you have to take care of the football. Strip sacks, you get over those because those sometimes happen. But the fumbles going in the end zone that he's done that last couple weeks, you got to avoid those.
Ridder says, you know what? He agrees. It's all about the ball, and that's been his focus this week.
First, the main thing is protecting the football. Like I talked about after the game, whether it's picking it up or running it, no matter who has the ball is the issue. So I have to do a better job, obviously, taking care of that. Just being able to work through, whether they're pulling at it, you got people punching at it, just going through ball security drill as far as, from the quarterback position for us.
As we continue on the opening drive, it's an interesting quarterback situation for Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill beat up. It sounds like we'll see rookie Will Levis and maybe former High Five Sports star Malik Willis for the Titans. So, Shock, how do the Falcons prepare?
Justin, I think you have to prepare the same way you would if you knew which guy was going to be in the ball game. And I say that because both guys are similar. They both are athletic. Remember Will Levis from his time at Kentucky was athletic. We know Malik Willis has been very athletic during his time. But I don't think it really matters which one of those guys is in there. They're going to prepare for both those guys. And you got to remember, both times the Falcons have faced rookie quarterbacks, they're 2-0. So that's a really good thing. All right, Arthur Smith says the Falcons defense will be ready no matter who they face.
You got to be playing for the backup quarterback. That's the way it goes. So I promise you this. They will be ready to go. And if we don't play our best game and we're not prepared, we'll get embarrassed.
And as we wrap up the opening drive, DJ, it's the Arthur Smith revenge game. Okay, all right. Coach is probably cool with it, but DJ, Arthur's got to feel some kind of way facing his old team, some guys he coached with, like his old boss, Mike Vrabel.
No doubt about it. This is a guy who's been a part of that Tennessee Titans organization since 2011. Was the offensive coordinator going back to 2019 through 20. He has tons of ties.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel has been a big part of his coaching career. If he says he doesn't really have any emotions about it, I think he's lying. I think it does. It means a lot to him. I'm sure he would love to go back to a place he spent a lot of time and get a W.
And another connection, Mike Vrabel's son, backup offensive lineman for the Falcons. Kind of interesting. Welcome into Early Birds alongside DJ Shockley. I'm Justin Felder, and there's also the matter of the Falcons slowing down the human freight train himself, Derrick Henry. Always a challenge.
My goodness. Yeah, out of 3 games this season, he's went over 80 yards. And 2 out of those 3, they have won. So you got to slow him down. You expect to get a win because he is a monster running the rock.
Yeah, whoever's a quarterback, just hand the ball to him.
No
it
doubt.
Usually works out. We told DJ we were going to skip the next segment.
What?
And he said, Jolene, I'm begging you, please don't take my film room.
Who's Jolene?
It's Dolly Parton.
Oh,
Dolly
okay.
Parton's song.
I got you. It makes sense now.
I don't know a lot of country music
I don't
lines.
either.
That's the best I can do. DJ, go warm up the telestrator. But first, the Falcons don't just have one of the most productive tight end rooms in the league. They might have the most Philadelphia tight end room in the league. Kyle Pitts, of course, and also the team's second leading receiver, Jonnu Smith. Jonnu, by the way, not really into the Phillies, so Braves fans, no need to change the channel. Smith and I talked one-on-one this week. He said a shared Philly heritage has brought he and Kyle Pitts closer together, even if Pitts is only kinda from Philadelphia.
Now that the season going on and we kind of, having some production, I give him a little bit more credit than I gave him earlier. You know what I mean? But he's not from the city. He went to high school outside of the city, so you know, that's like a running joke that we got. With me and Kyle we grew up in the inner city, so it may be a lot of different things of our understanding that a lot of people may not understand. You know, that's just a Philly thing. That's my young boy. You know, if he watch this, he'll understand what I'm saying. So.
Ritter, the play fake, gonna throw for Jonnu Smith, touchdown! Wow!
I want to ask you about your season so far, second on the team in catches, in receiving yards. How do you look at your season to this point?
Just trying to make plays when my name is called, and also be a leader as well. You know, I think it's me and CP, probably the oldest guys in that skill position group right there, man. That's kind of like my first time I've been in that role. Some of the best leaders I've been around haven't been just leaders about X's and O's, but guys that I can come and talk to about anything, and I feel like I've kind of made myself available, you know, to everybody on this team.
You played the Titans once before since leaving Tennessee, but does facing your former team, does it still feel a little different?
It's always going to be some emotional ties, man. You know, I'm human. Tennessee drafted me. You know what I mean? They drafted me. I'm always going to have a place in my heart, a lot of love and respect for the organization. Of course, you know, you're going to have some emotional ties there, but at the end of the day, it's a business trip.
He's got a job to do as well, and I know you'll be able to put the Titans stuff to the side, but what do you think it'll be like for Coach Smith seeing his former team and guys he coached with?
Yeah. I mean, man, I got to speak for myself when I say it'll be some emotional ties, but like I said, we are human.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, but the way he's preparing for this game is like any other. You don't want to get too caught up in the moment. It'd be good to see some of those guys. Got a lot of love and respect for a lot of those guys over there.
Oh, Jonnu Smith!
It'll definitely be a great day in Nashville.
You guys are now in first place. You've been on teams at the top of the division, at the top of the conference. How are things different when you're the team being hunted, being chased, rather than chasing?
Absolutely, yeah. You kind of hit it on the money. We are the team that's being hunted. We are the team that's being chased. We are the team with the target on our back. From being on those teams, the approach that you have is to be the hunter. Never lose that chip or that edge, man. So we got a lot of improvement to make. Playing our brand of football, we'll get to where we want to go. We just got to do that consistently.
It's time to get some game intel from Shock. You're invited into the film room. So cut the lights and let's get started.
All right, Justin, really great interview there with my man Jonnu, and he's a big part of what I want to talk about next, the run game and getting these guys going, and it's all about the big boys up front, receivers, tight ends, everybody doing their 111. Now, here's a play I want to talk about. This is a very creative and unique play that the Falcons used in the last ball game. The guys I want you to pay attention to on this particular play is our left guard here, Bergeron, and then our fullback here, Keith Smith. They're going to do such a good job of coming around and kicking these two defenders out on the outside. You're going to get a come around, he's going to come around and he's going to kick this guy out, and then you talk about another player and Keith Smith who's going to wind back and he's going to end up kicking this guy out all around, and then you're going to get CP who's going to hit it like a freight train right through here. It's going to be an interesting play here. So let's let it roll and see what you're talking about. Bergeron kicks down, and now you can see him kick around. Look at the hat on a hat here. These guys do such a good job of putting a hat on a hat here. Now you got control here, boom, control, and now you get a chance for CP to hit it right up the middle, and you love what you see when he hits it right through here, and you have an avenue to throw and have a good job of hitting it, and it's just such a cool play here as you finish it through. Each guy has a hat on a hat. CP finishes with authority, and that's what you like to see. This run game can be creative, this run game can be explosive, and these guys are doing it, and everybody's doing their 111, Justin, and that's what makes the run game go each and every week.
And different running backs getting involved last week as well. Shock, thank you so much. Coming up, we got more to come. Jank will be here. Lots to talk about in college football. I'm sure he will be restrained talking about his arch rival Michigan sign stealing. And of course, Georgia's got a big game in Jacksonville. But first,
the night before the game, I like to meditate and kind of visualize how the game is going to go.
we'll take some deep breaths and clear our headspace with Arnold Ebiketie, how meditation helps get ready for games. That's next in Going Deep.
Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you. You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz. The best, nothing. And sponsored by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Truest, when you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. And the Home Depot, how doers get more done. More Early Birds coming back at you. Early Birds, listen up. It's not Saturday without some college football talk. Brought to you by Zaxby's. indescribably good chicken fingers and wings. Here's Justin Felder.
Welcome back into Early Birds. We welcome in former Falcons and Ohio State wide receiver Michael Jenkins. Before we start, you had a little wager last week we talked about on Early Birds with our producer Luke. Yeah, big Penn State fan. Did he pay up?
Yeah, he did. Nice little bottle of Cab, some Godiva chocolates. I mean, I really enjoyed that, Luke, so thank you.
Luke's Jenkins doing well on this tour through the Fox 5 sports staff. All right, in a less proud moment for your Big Ten, but I'm sure you feel terrible as an Ohio State guy. Big story around Michigan, right? It's constantly evolving, but there are allegations out there that a Michigan staffer taped opposing coaches giving signals at games. That's against the rules.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like a lot of current and former players and coaches seem to say not as big a deal. What's your read on this?
Yeah, I love, just as an Ohio State guy, to be like, bash Michigan and this and that. But it's just like you said, it's kind of It's like everybody tries to find a signal, try to get any kind of advantage they can during the game. So if I see a defense making a signal like, hey, every time they do that, they're playing cover 2. Like, it happens all over the place. So we'll see what happens. It's an NCAA rule that's been in place for a long time.
Right.
And we'll just have to wait and see what they come up with.
Yeah, I guess the big deal is maybe somebody went to games and recorded signals on a phone, something like that. Yeah. Michigan's still highly ranked, trying to not let this whole sign-stealing situation get in their way.
I'm just so focused on what we're doing in the building, and so is he, that it never really becomes a distraction, and we never really think of it as anything other than, Coach Harwell's got to deal with something new once again. So he does a great job of just keeping us focused on the main thing, which is winning football games.
There's still a lot of games to play, but I'm sure with Michigan and maybe your Buckeyes on a collision course in the Big Ten, you guys wouldn't bring this up, right? Leading up to that game.
It's funny, though. Some people are kind of showing a clip where Michigan is like, we're playing them last year,
right?
And we make a call, and you can see their sideline doing a signal all together, like they know what's coming, but we still scored on the play.
Right.
So it's like you still got to play the game, you still got to stop the opposing team. So
it's certainly something to follow, that whole situation. Well, also I'll be following the big game this afternoon. DJ calls it Georgia, Florida. As a Floridian, I call it Florida, Georgia. Anyway, always interesting. What do you see in this one, the game down in Jacksonville this afternoon?
I know Georgia, first time kind of without their guy,
right?
Number 19. So it's what happens when Georgia gets into a little sticky situation. They're used to going to 19 to kind of uplift them and get the spark going. So who's going to step up in that role?
Do you kind of throw things out? Georgia brings in a lot more talent than the Gators. I'll just be honest here. But like Ohio State, Michigan, things can get weird in rivalry games.
They always can. And I know we were talking about it earlier. It's still the number 1 team playing an unranked team. I'm sorry,
that's
Justin.
okay.
They're 27th. They're close.
Yeah, they're in there.
But anything can happen, and that's why they play the game. And so, mistakes can happen, a little turnover here, turnover there, and you just never know, especially in a rivalry like this.
Well, DJ this week caught up with a Gator great, and then after he was done talking to me, he also talked to former Florida star Chris Doering.
Just remember the feeling of walking into that stadium early in the morning and seeing the SEC logo on the middle of the field, and just seeing the visuals of what the crowd looks like with the half orange and blue and half red and black.
Yeah, it's certainly a cool scene down in Jacksonville, Florida, and Georgia today at 3:30. Finally, Georgia Tech coming off a rough home loss to Boston College, but a really good chance tonight to flip the narrative. They've got a North Carolina team that still has their eyes on an ACC title.
Yeah, they do, and you really don't want to see North Carolina coming off the loss that they had against 1-5 Virginia team. But Georgia Tech has won 4 out of the last 5 against North Carolina. They've won 4 out of the last 5 against ranked ACC opponents. So I'm sure they'll be up for the task.
Yeah, Jackets know it'll be tough, but they come into this game confident.
North Carolina coming in, we got a lot of respect for them guys. Explosive offense, great quarterback. So I just think we just got to come out and play our best brand of football, play Tech football. We know we can do.
All right, Tech and North Carolina tonight. Jenk, we appreciate you so much. And Shock, we send it over to you. I know we got to wrap this show up so you can get on the road down to the Florida-Georgia game.
I think it's called something else. And before we get into the next topic, I think you would love to see this right here.
Oh, man.
Oh, little gator, little dog food for our Gators. Looking forward to that today.
I'll see that on my desk later, I'm sure.
All right, each week on Going Deep, we ask Falcons players something that the average fan wouldn't know about. That includes what goes into playing a game that we never get to see. Linebacker Arnold Ebiketie says that before he plays in a loud environment on Sundays, he likes to quiet things down the night before. He explains in this week's Going Deep.
Well, I don't know necessarily about being unique, but I know one thing I love to do the night before the game. I like to meditate and kind of visualize how the game's going to go.
Falcons rush only 4. They yield, still get home. It's Ebiketie. That twist up front works, and Arnold Ebiketie, having a fantastic rookie year, comes up with a sack.
And the main thing I always come down to being prepared ahead during the week. So come Saturday, all I have to do is relax my mind and just make the last couple tweaks to the game plan. And once I get up at night when I meditate and game day, I try to be mind-free, kind of. Don't want to be nervous and just go out there and play freely.
I feel more relaxed already. More to come on Early Birds. We'll take you inside the most secretive spot on the football field, or at least next to it. The Team Doc explains after the break.
You're watching Early Birds, presented by Mercedes-Benz, on your official home for Falcons football, Fox 5 Atlanta.
Welcome back to Early Birds, where we're all used to a little privacy when talking to our doctor. NFL players, though, didn't used to really have that option unless they wanted to leave the field and go back to the locker room, until the famous big blue tent. But what exactly goes on in there? Well, that's the focus of this week's Emory Road to Recovery.
So the blue tent is a secret. Obviously, we use that blue tent to, have privacy for the athlete. We have that blue tent for privacy for myself or the other training staff who are talking to a player. That gives us a little bit more of a quiet environment. There's not all the peering eyes, the camera people. No one can get in there except for us. So it is, even though it's on the field, right in the middle of everything, you do feel like you're kind of back in your own doctor's office, scenario. So the athlete's able to kind of take a deep breath, calm down. We're able to have a nice conversation. I'm able to assess that athlete and see what the injury's going on, what's going on from an injury standpoint, and then make a nice, sound medical judgment on how best to take care of them.
Pretty cool stuff there, Doc. All right, the Falcons' entire team spent Tuesday giving back. We'll take you to one of the cutest events. That's next on Early Birds.
It's almost game time, Falcons fans. When the Falcons sack the opposing QB at home, you'll score a BOGO free Big Zack snack meal the day after the game. Valid online only at Atlanta area stores. Early Birds has been presented to you by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. Hey Falcons fans, score a touchdown with low tire prices at Mavis Tires and Brakes, the official tire retailer of the Atlanta Falcons. Visit MavisTire.com to find a store near you.
Throw it big. Oh, there you go.
A little bowling for Falcons safety Richie Grant. Tuesday afternoon, he spent time at a Halloween party at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta at Scottish Rite. Shock, this was part of Hometown Huddle. Whole roster, everybody, they went all over the city, all over our part of Georgia, giving back. It was a big community effort by the entire Falcons team.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, they've been doing this since I played for the Falcons. It's something that Arthur Blank absolutely believes in, and every guy on the team is out in the community, which is great. Only team in the NFL that does it.
That's great. Always great stuff at Children's Healthcare, and actually they'll be back there for a costume party. Always a highlight to see what costumes these guys break out when they visit with the kids on Halloween next week. And be sure, Falcons and Titans coming up tomorrow to join us for the Dirty Bird Report. We'll have highlights, interviews, and so much more from the game. Falcons trying to stay in first place tomorrow night, 11:30 p.m. Make sure to tune in. So it will be Atlanta, it will be Tennessee. One more matchup to watch for the Falcons tomorrow afternoon.
Last week versus Tampa, we saw Mike Evans, who gave us a few issues here and there.
Yeah.
This week, DeAndre Hopkins, another big-time receiver. Can our DBs hold up? Not allowed to have those big plays in this ball game. So we have to be wary of where DeAndre Hopkins is in this ball game, because whichever quarterback plays, they're going to be looking for that guy.
Crafty veteran for sure. And make sure to get Derrick Henry on the ground, or get a couple guys to try and do it.
That is like unwritten. Yeah. We got to make sure we tackle him for sure.
It's a challenge. All right, well, we'll see how the Falcons do tomorrow afternoon. That's it for us here on Early Birds. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here next Saturday morning. For DJ Shockley, I'm Justin Felder. Have a good morning and a great rest of your weekend.